We've talked about the Writers and Illustrators of the Future Award quite a few times. John Goodwin has been on with us a few times. John is the president and publisher of Galaxy Press. He's an author in his own right. He's a member of the Dubai Press Club, Science Fiction Writers of America, the Explorers Club. It goes on and on and on. And somebody sent me, was it him? Who sent me this
Yes, he
box?
did.
I have it on my desk right now. I haven't started listening. I got to have a road trip. I work 4 miles from home. 4 miles. So I don't have enough time to listen to something that's, what is it, 2 days? It's 2 days, right? Mm-hmm. Is it 48 hours or 24 hours of listening? It's a big, long thing, right?
Yeah.
So I'm looking, but the writing that L. Ron Hubbard did is really outstanding. By the way, the Writers of the Future, the Illustrators of the Future volume, which one is up? Are we up to 30?
33 for this one,
33.
Yes.
Plus, of course, you can always, one of the reasons we talk to the folks over there is because we want to encourage local writers and illustrators to enter their stuff. And so John Goodwin is on the phone to talk to us about this. Good morning, John. How are you?
Good morning, Larry. It's great to be back with you. I'm doing great out here in Los Angeles.
Thank you for sending me this. It is so good. I mean, I haven't even begun, but I did begin, but I mean, I've hardly made a scratch in it. It's a lot. How much listening is this? 24 hours?
No, it's about 48.
48 hours.
So you're correct when you said 2 days.
See, I need to take a road trip somewhere. Like
to Los Angeles.
Like to L.A., yeah. Then I can listen to the whole thing.
You start listening to you'll start falling in love with your driveway.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, you don't want to get out.
You don't want to be your car, exactly. We've had so many emails from people saying, I don't get out of my car when I get home.
I believe that.
I believe that's true. Okay, but the one thing here's what I thought. I thought that L. Ron Hubbard was such a skillful writer. And where do skillful writers come from? If they're in their bedrooms typing and nobody's noticing what they're doing or nobody's coaching them on how to get better, then we never discover them. But what you do helps discover writers every 4 times a year you do this, right?
4 times a year, correct. And we have the big award ceremony, which is coming up April 2nd.
Oh, my gosh. And that's once a year. The ceremony is once a year, right?
Yes. Yeah, and this is where we celebrate the winners of the past year.
Wow. It's got to be exciting for them. We speak to them all the time. I'm sure you know that.
I do know that. That's great.
And it is amazing. All the different walks of life, men as well as women, old as well as young, all the races that are represented. I mean, there is no discrimination with your organization, with the contest.
That's correct. And I do want to be able to raise a complaint at this point because your listeners do not seem to be listening to you. I anticipate a winner coming from or near the Ocala, Florida region, and we've not had it yet. So
we do.
I'm at this point making an official chastisement that over the last 4 years.
No. There is one, right? That was the guy in
the villages. Yeah.
In the villages. That was 4 years ago, 5 years ago.
Okay, I see what you mean. In a while, we haven't had.
I would have expected a lot more. We've got our Salt Lake City, Utahs, and our Eugene, Oregons. We need our Ocala, Florida, added to that lofty list of sacred cities.
All right, we're going to give you. We're going to send you a winner. This time, we're going to send you one.
Yes, we are.
We are going to send you one.
Okay.
I don't know how, but we're going to do it. But somehow we're going to do it.
Okay.
I learned a new genre from this called speculative fiction. I just thought there was sci-fi and fantasy, but there's also speculative fiction. Can you elaborate on that?
Sure. The idea of speculative fiction is embracive of science fiction and fantasy, but it also includes alternate history. Steampunk became a bit of a big genre several years ago, but it got about half a dozen years before that, when it became big, was first being written about in Writers of the Future. You also have the flight horror, the zombies, all that stuff falls in the category of speculative fiction. It's just anything. It's a what if type of a take on storytelling. If it's a science fiction angle, well, it's got to be something that never existed before. If it's a fantasy, well, fantasy falls into the category of the imaginary compared with the unreal that ties into that, which horror actually was a subgenre of fantasy when it first started. You used to find the horror books in the fantasy section, and it continued to grow to become its own section now. But speculative fiction, it falls into all those categories of what ifs.
Do the writers often have a hard time labeling the genre of their own work?
It hasn't been, not that I know of, because at least for our people that submit, we keep it nice and general like that, so that anything falls in that category, and then we look for a really good story that's being told. The thing about writers of the future is that these guys aren't held to any particular constraints, like, okay, this is what you are and this is how you write, and that's what it is. It's like there's so much new stuff, like I said, with the steampunk, with some of these other stories that are really popular now. They were originally being conceived because these are the winners you're going to be reading in a half a dozen years as your favorite author.
Yes, I think you're
as
right.
is the case right now. Several of today's favorite authors, Patrick Rothfuss was a winner 10 years ago. Brandon Sanderson, although he never won the contest, was a finalist, and he said himself that that's what gave him his kickstart to push it through to persevere.
Really?
He was ready to give up. He was ready to give up.
Oh,
and then when he won when he became a finalist to Write the Future, he said, okay, maybe I have what it takes, and I'll keep on persisting.
Okay, so we want to encourage our listeners to enter, and so I want to ask you to clarify something for our listeners, because the truth is, a talk radio show in Ocala, Florida, probably has a large number of people who are 40 and older, I would guess. I'm sure of it, actually. So, not to say we don't have any of the college kids, because we have a college in our listening audiences, or more than one college, actually. But speak to the people who think that you're only talking to somebody who's 18. Speak to the guy who's 62.
So let's talk about you. Okay, so you made reference to your winner in the villages.
Yeah.
What's the age you have to be in order to be able to even move into the villages?
I don't know.
I think at least 55.
Okay, I didn't know.
Exactly. Yeah, so he was a winner. I think he was in his early 60s.
Okay.
We had a grand prize winner, I think 3 years ago, Sharon Joss, who lives in, I think it's in Oregon. She was now starting her second career. She was in her late 50s. Because there's no age constraint in publishing, you hear the thing that, okay, unless you're young, we're not going to take on somebody new because we don't want to build a career with somebody who's already old.
Yeah.
That's just balderdash. So because all the judges ever see is a number associated with the story, they have no idea of nationality, age, religion, sex, anything. It's strictly by the merit of the story alone. Several years ago, we had a doctor. He was in his 50s, an emergency room doctor that entered and won the contest. I could tell he was a doctor when he on his story because he had medical terms that he used.
Uh-huh.
But there's no problem at all. It's just if you've not been professionally published, that's the only thing that we require. Otherwise, it's open to everybody. There's no entry fee. You maintain all the rights to your story, and whether we've had I think our oldest entrant to the contest was 102. So
wow,
it's like
whoa,
they didn't win, but still that was an entrant.
Yeah. So oh gosh, what did I want to ask you? When somebody enters, Robert, where was I going? My mind just went to a blank. Oh, sorry.
Someone enters quarterly.
Oh, I know what I want to tell you. We had a guest on who was one of the writers, I think, or illustrators. Anyway, the feedback that he got when he didn't win helped him to craft whatever it was, the writing or the illustrating, so that he did win. It was not that long ago we had him on.
Oh, yeah. No, he was the illustrator. That's right.
And I wanted to point that out to everybody. I know you know that already, John, but I think you're not going to get that from any other contest. You're not going to get feedback from people who know. So what do you tell them what you're looking for? Is that kind of the feedback, or is it writing advice in general?
Well, right now, as an overview, what's being looked for is originality and good storytelling, and of course, the submission itself has to be properly formatted, no typographical errors, and good grammar. That's a base that has to happen. But it's originality and a good story is the main thing the judges are looking for. So when a person enters the contest, everybody receives a communication back saying, thank you very much for entering, enter again. Then as they get closer, once they become finalists, they didn't win, but they're a finalist, they'll get personalized notes from the judges saying, "Okay, good. Here's some tips. Here's some suggestions." And the whole purpose of the contest is to encourage, not to discourage. There's plenty of the discouragement out there.
That's wonderful.
The purpose of the contest, as set by Mr. Hubbard when he created the contest in 1983, was to encourage the aspiring writer, the aspiring artist. It's something he'd been doing his whole career as a writer himself from the 30s and 40s and 50s. So it wasn't something new to him, but the other judges and big names in science fiction and fantasy who are now on board as contest judges, who have now picked up and are carrying that torch, very much want to help their fellow writer, pick them up out of the slush pile and into the ranks of the pros.
Wow.
And you're giving an honor to one of the judges in one of your short story winners, Mike Resnick.
Exactly. Mike, I think he's been on your show before. Mm-hmm. He's an amazingly nice man. He's such a nice guy. So he's receiving the L. Ron Hubbard Lifetime Achievement Award. He has got so many amazing stories of having helped the younger aspiring writers. I think he's worked with 30 of our past winners to publish them and help get them going after they win the contest. So he's a true hero.
Wow. When we talk about, when it says writers of the future, does that mean the writers will be future writers, or does that mean the stories have to deal with the future?
No, these are our future writers. So these are the writers, the future writers, the people you'll be reading in the years to come.
Okay, so science fiction is the key, but futuristic writing is not necessary. Correct.
You have alternate history. That's been a theme before as well. Or when you get into the zombies, horror, that's not time related. You get some of usually science fiction is future. Although you've got some stories have taken from the viewpoint of the future until the history of spaceflight starting. Then you go back to the 50s and 60s, or they'll go into some. The steampunk will go into spaceflight with the use of steam motivated, and so the people look like they are in the mid 1800s, but they've got spaceflight.
Oh wow! So wow! Okay.
Yeah.
And every year you choose a different theme for the event itself. So you've chosen a pretty cool one this year.
What is it?
It's very cool with dragons. The whole thing of, our thing is you're invited for a magical night for dreamers and dragons. So it's an amazing piece of cover art by Larry Elmore. He's the person that created all the original artwork for Dungeons and Dragons. So he does amazing dragons. So it's a dragon, and so our whole stage. I sent you an image of it last night, I think, and so you can see the stage where we have. It's going to be absolutely spectacular. The stage each year has to be better than the previous year, and so how do you make it better? But our designers come up with new ideas, and it's just amazing what they do.
I'm looking at it right now. This is what the stage is going to look like?
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Isn't it?
What are they going to make that out of, that big dragon?
It's a big styrofoam. They cut out styrofoam and paint it.
Oh, my gosh. You're right in the heart of the movie-making world. Do the movie makers ever come to you for some of the story ideas?
Yeah, we have a lot of our judges, when they come out, they will actually meet with, they'll combine their trip out here to Los Angeles to meet with various movie producers and directors. A lot of our judges have got movies and stories. Tim Powers, he's one of our judges on Stranger Tides. That was made into a couple of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. Rob Sawyer did Flash Forward.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
By the way, when you speak of alternate history, I have an alternate history myself. The older I get, the better my story gets.
It's amazing.
As people who know the truth die off, I become really great.
It's amazing how that works.
One of the cool things about your contest is that when you do choose the quarterly winners and then you fly them out there and then they meet with the professionals, do the workshops and everything, you guys really encourage them to be on their own creatively, that you don't want them to be shy, that what they are offering is very valuable as a career.
Exactly. And that's what the judges, because we have probably about 20 to 30 judges that will come out here as well for the event, and they each get a slot at talking to the winners. So you get the writers and illustrators being given some amazingly hard-won evidence or hard-won knowledge from our judges that just gives them, so they don't have to go through the same possibly rough learning curve that they did. And so they learn the business of writing, the business of art. How do you deal with an agent? How do you deal with these different people that you need to know how to deal with in these professions? And then after the awards ceremony, I actually give about a 4-hour workshop on how to do PR in media. So we drill, how do you do a radio interview? How do you answer certain key questions which are guaranteed to be asked every interview? How do you create a Facebook page, a Twitter page? What do you say? All these different things we go over to help them, because those are vital tools to have for a successful career as a writer or an artist.
So hopefully we have played a role in some of that. How to, I'm sure we're asking some of the questions. I have no idea. We when we do the interviews, the writers and the illustrators that you send us to talk to, they run the gamut. They're from talkative to shy to, and they're so interesting. When you start to delve into other parts of their lives besides their writing and their illustrating, I mean, they come from all different places. It's just an amazing group of people that show up at the Writers and Illustrators of the Future.
It is. I mean, this year we've got winners from 8 different countries. So we have entries from over 170 countries around the world. And this year, this is the highest ever we've had in actual winners, which was, like I said, at 8.
And you had expanded the contest from Mr. Hubbard's vision in the beginning, because all he envisioned were the writers.
Yeah, at the beginning was writers, and because of the success of the program, and we used to have illustrators illustrate several stories, and we came with the idea of how about a sister contest for illustrators, which was started 5 years later. So whereas the Writers Contest is 33 years old, the Illustrator Contest is 28 years old.
And and when the illustrator is chosen as a winner, do they get married? Matched up is a better word, with a particular story? Is that how that works?
Yes. What happens is that you've got the illustrators win by submitting 3 pieces of art, and as a winner, they are then given one of the winning 12 stories for the writer winners, and then they're commissioned to illustrate that story. And then that's what gets published, and it's based upon the quality of the work of that illustration they did for the final story that determines who's the grand prize winner.
Gotcha, okay.
And when you say the illustrator is commissioned to do the story of the writer, do they get paid for that?
Yes. Yeah, everything that they get their winning money, but they also get their money for doing the artwork, for creating the illustration for the art. And then there's one last, and then obviously their flight is paid for by the contest, the hotel's paid for by the contest, the award ceremony, and then one of the 12 writer winners and one of the 12 illustrator winners will be selected as the grand prize winner, and they will each receive a $5,000 check on top of that.
This is absolutely amazing. It is so generous to recognize people, because, like Larry said in the beginning, there is not any other opportunity like this that we know of.
Yeah, I don't know if any other one. Yeah.
There isn't. There actually isn't. And the main thing is, like I said, there's no entry fee on it, and it's open to anyone. And a few years ago, we made it so that you could upload your art or your story online, so that a lot of times the aspiring writer or the aspiring artist is also aspiring to have some money. So they don't necessarily have the pocket. So they also don't have the pocket change to send out the cost of these manuscripts to make them, so they can upload it now onto the website. So there's no fee for them to even upload.
My gosh, if you're a writer or an illustrator, you have to give this a shot. I can't tell you how many times Robin and I have to tell. Well, here's the scenario, John. We get a phone call. I'd like to be on the show. Okay, tell me what you do. Well, we have a contest. It's for young whatever. Let's just say writers in this case. Okay, it's for young writers. And say, okay, well, does it cost anything? No. We just have an administrative charge of like $10.
Yeah.
Well, hello, that's $10. And
Yeah.
and so we always say, no, we'd be happy to have you on. You can buy some advertising, but as far as doing an interview, we'd thank you so much. But and that's for the listeners. That's why you don't hear us talking to anybody else who does this. John and his folks are the only ones we do this with. You're the only one.
Yeah, no, well, thank you.
At the event also, you're going to have live painting this year?
Yeah, we've got Larry Elmore, who's the one, like I said, that did the cover art, along with Rob Fryer, who's an amazing artist. He's an illustrator. He paints with two hands simultaneously. And actually, if you look at pictures of him painting, his eyes are closed. He's just so into the painting. He's amazing. And so you ask him, look at, your eyes are closed. And he said, oh, so do you know that you're not in your body when you're painting? Yeah, I know. I'm just there doing it. So he's like really into as an aesthetic artist. And you've got video footage of him actually painting. You see his eyes are closed as you got both arms going painting. He's amazing. There's a lot of videos of him online.
Wow.
As a painter,
I'm trying to compete a little bit here. Let me see. I can eat with both hands at the same time, and with my eyes closed.
You're on your way.
I can have a pizza in one hand and
it's just one simple step over the line, man. You got it.
one pizza in one hand and a potato in a potato chip in the other one, and I can do it with my eyes closed. By the way,
will this event?
There you go.
Will this event be televised or will it be delayed?
This is going to be live when we broadcast it on. We'll be broadcasting on YouTube and on Facebook as it's happening, as the event's happening on April 2nd. And you can find all the information at www.writersofthefuture.com. And we also have a Facebook page, too, which has all the updates. On the Writers of the Future Facebook page, one special thing is I'm posting all the winning art from the 12 Illustrator winners. It's beautiful art that they won the contest with. So you can go there, and it's Writers and Illustrators of the Future, the Facebook page, and you can actually see all the winning art.
Oh my gosh!
Every day.
I'm going to go after we're off the air, John. We have to wrap up about 3 minutes early. So thank you for being on the air with us, John. The website, if you're interested in doing this, and we let's see, a year from now, I want to hear that somebody from Ocala is going to the award ceremony.
Yes,
1 year from now. Okay, so writersofthefuture.com is the website. That's your key to all of the things that John has just told us about. And I'd love to be there for the Christmas parade too. That's just for the fun of it.
Yeah.
I'd like to see this thing too.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, I got it all figured out. What you do is you get in your car, you put in your Battlefitters audiobook, and you drive out here, and you're all set.
I could do
there
that.
you go.
I could do that.
There you go.
I really do want to do this because I drove across the desert years ago, and I want to do it at least one more time before I die. So, even if I die in the desert, that's what I want to do.
With your eyes closed.
That's right.
Always fun, John. Thank you for what you do. I love this contest. For the listeners, I am not... Oh, I almost said a bad word.
Ooh.
I am not BSing you.
There you go.
I almost said the actual word. Oh my gosh.
That's not good.
This is real.
Wow.
This is the real deal. You really do want to get in on this. John, thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you very much for having me on your show yet again.
All right.
Everybody, please look at our show.
We'll be right back.
The NFL alumni is sponsoring a Clays for Kids, a sporting event to benefit the Marion County Children's Charity. The event will take place at the Robinson Ranch in Inglis, Florida on Saturday, April 8th. Call 427-0950 for detailed information. The NFL alumni will provide gift bags, breakfast, lunch, prizes, and drawings throughout the day. Call 427-0950 for detailed information on the Clay for Kids sporting event, hosted by the NFL alumni.
Hi, I'm Leah Caruso with Strive Rehabilitation, inviting you to tune in to the first and third Thursday of the month at 11 a.m. to learn about the latest advances in healthcare available right here at home. Ocala Regional Medical Center and Strive have teamed up to bring the most qualified medical professionals on the air to answer your questions and bring information to help you in your decisions concerning your health. Again, that's the first and third Thursday. Health matters.
Hospice of Marion County has an urgent need for volunteers to share a conversation with someone, run errands, hold someone's hand. All you need is a willingness to help others. Our